So good afternoon to one and all present over here for the consecutive program of the Technical Fest SIM 9.0. So this program is a program which mainly focus on the communication skill as well as the technological aspects, how the faculty as well as the students can enrich their professional life, especially in the name of technology. And recently we have successfully completed the Ideathon with different ideas, and mainly the two problem statements is being taken crucially in the name of Ideathon, starting from your IoT as well as the machine learning and smart vehicles and so on. So in this particular STEM 9.0, we mainly focus on two kinds of topics which is mainly needed in the crucial environment. One is the TensorFlow that is coming under the part of your artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning. And the next one is the IoT, that is hot topic, which is specifically now in all the different environment. The IoT is been booming up. So with this, we will start over the session. So I'm just before starting over the session, I just take an opportunity to welcome all the students on behalf of our institution, and as well as I take an opportunity to welcome our Vice Chairman E.V. Kumaran sir and our beloved registered Dr. R. Sathisiran sir and our beloved principal Dr. R. Ravichandran sir, heads of the various departments, and my dear faculties and students. So I take this opportunity to present the topic of STEM 9.0 with the consecutive program that we specifically make this particular event to motivate the faculties as well as the students to promote their professional as well as their technical skills to be enlightened to the community for the Asians especially actually. So I just take this session to be started with my presentation. Let me start the session on the topic which we discuss about the TensorFlow actually. So this program to be named as in STEM 9.0, which is conducted by the Department of CSE consecutively from the pandemic situations. So I'm just taking this opportunity to know about to give a basic information about how the TensorFlow will be useful for the academic, especially presently third year students have been studying over artificial intelligence subject, and as well as an IT students are studying a computational intelligence subject actually. So for this two set of people, as well as for the upcoming students, as well as the project students, those who are doing in the final year. So everyone, this particular TensorFlow is one of the crucial part which help you to do enlight in the name of your machine learning as well as deep learning. So let I go for the presentation. So before going for the presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Jyotish Kumar, Head Department of CSE, trainer and coordinate for the course. Let I go for the topic. So before going for the topic, let me have some simple scenario that you can display on the screen, something like an Google with the name of an RankBrain actually. So everyone, every moment, every minute, every day, we have been working with the name of an Google.com actually. So before going to TensorFlow, the topic, let me identify what is the background of the topic, why TensorFlow is being needed, what is the main responsibility of the TensorFlow is being doing, especially with Google actually. So let me go for to that particular topic. So let me see about Google.com. So we know already it is a one type of search engine algorithm which take all the inputs to be taken and give the correct way of what is the expected output that the faculty or the students is needed. So we have a topic known as an RankBrain, which is developed by Google. It is a large scale development or the deployment of the deep neural networks actually. So neural networks where the human brains, it's a part of a human brain. So like that, the system will develop on deep neural nets for searching the ranking algorithm, something we given over an Anna, and then automatically it will give university. So the Anna University is a ranking one when you are searching for the term known as an A and an A. So this searching algorithm, that the name of the algorithm is known as a RankBrain algorithm. So this is developed under the background of TensorFlow. Okay, so you want to know that the Google.com, which is using the searching algorithm, how the searching is being made, in what way the ranking is being given for each and every session, or what way the ranking will be given for each and every text that you are searching in the Google, that everything will be coming under the part of one searching algorithm. The name of the searching algorithm is a RankBrain searching algorithm. So this RankBrain searching algorithm is using the TensorFlow to be as a backend, as an application to take all this kind of aspects. So it is a part of the searching algorithm that is used to sort through the billions of pages, whatever the pages that you are reviewed. So it will go for sorting the billions of pages, it's no, and find out one deemed most relevant, what is the document that you needed. So it is almost talk about the TensorFlow applications actually. So this is a way where scenario I've been starting with the TensorFlow, why we need the TensorFlow. So TensorFlow, the name of RankBrain algorithm. So RankBrain algorithm is using a TensorFlow as a backend for searching algorithm for the Google. So this is a scenario I'm starting with it. Why the TensorFlow mainly needed, especially, and you can see the diagram that I draw one human face to be made. So this represent how the human brain, the neural networks is being networks is being formed. So the same way we are forming and machine learning neural networks for the system to develop the rank brain with the name of TensorFlow. So before going to the TensorFlow, let we have some kind of identification that what are all the prerequisites needed if you are going to learn about the TensorFlow. That is very important actually. Machine learning and deep learning to be learned, and especially the mathematical terminology and its functionality to be learned, and as well as we need some kind of programming languages to be known, and out of that we have an Python to be needed, and other than that we have a Colab. Because what is the main objective of the Colab? It is one of the research lab which has been designed by the Google, especially to take care about how the end users can able to effectively use the machine learning and deep learning samples to be explained, and because they don't have that effective systems and servers to be maintained. But Google is providing a research lab with the name of Colab platform. So this Colab platform will be able to provide you to create a samples and create you to do an exercise on both machine learning as well as the deep learning actually. So this Colab is one of the platform which is especially needed with the name of programming language of Python. So we need all these kinds of terminology to be needed to carry out. For example, machine learning already we see in the STEM in the previous version. So once if you go for the deep learning, so we know already the basics of deep learning, something like what is a deep learning? Deep learning is actually the subset of a machine learning, and it works on the structure and functions similar to the human brain, which what we call as a neural networks. So it learns from the data that is unstructured and use a complex algorithm to train the neural network. So how the brain will learn based on the learning, the methodology, the same way it will be learn about the different way that the subset of machine learning will be done with the name of neural networks actually. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. So this particular slide will explain about what is the introduction. Maybe the first line has been very clear that the TensorFlow is an open source library developed by the Google primarily for deep learning. So the line I just want to highlight it is developed by Google in 2015 and primarily for the deep learning. So let me understand what is the main objective of primarily for deep learning actually. Already I told that the deep learning is actually the subset of machine learning, number one. Number two is actually the Google so when you take it about the Google, the primary for the deep learning, number one. Number two is actually, you know about what is the primarily for deep learning. The primary for deep learning represent about the rank brain. That what I just told at the background of the scenario, the first slide when I told about the scenario of the Google, that if you want, I will go for once. So you can able to see about the rank brain. So rank brain is one of the searching algorithm. At the background of rank brain searching algorithm, we have a technology available known as in TensorFlow applications. So that is what the line it has been given over is Google is primarily for the deep learning. Second one is it was developed by the Google Brain team for the internal Google use. So it's initially when it is startup over the TensorFlow, it is used for the internal use. That you can see that the searching algorithm for the rank brain algorithm, the Google which has been adopted the TensorFlow. That is the initial origin why the TensorFlow has been initially started to use it actually. But generally, when you come to the third point which they mentioned, it is go for flexible architecture with a variety of platform. So what is a variety of platform? For example, when you are developing a simple level of an application, then CPU is being convenient for you. But when you go for graphics animations, when you go for rendering of an images, when you go for movie animated extraction of images, when you go for masking images, so all this kind of things and all will need more processing power as well as the storage to get more number of samples with the name called as a data set. So that particular moment of time, the CPU is not comfort for you. So the TensorFlow is a flexible architecture with a variety of platform like GPU, that what we call as a graphics processing unit, which take care about the gaming applications as well as extraction of an images in different formats. And as well as the last one, which is mostly needed by the TensorFlow application, which what the name known as a TensorFlow processing unit actually. So this, they developed one unit, processing unit, especially to run only the applications of two kinds of learning, which what we called as a machine learning as well as a deep learning. So TPU, which is the last one, which we called as a tensor processing unit or TensorFlow processing unit. So this particular unit is specifically designed to take care about the deep learning actually. So what is the TensorFlow? See, you can see the word that I given over it, the T and F should be in capital letters. So from that, what I want to come to say is over the sense, this is a 2 letters word. It is not a 1 letter word. Tensor is one part and flow is another part actually. So you want to make it that to be very clear. Don't take it as a single word. Maybe that is a single word as a TensorFlow we are calling. But as a technically, when I talk about that particular word, it's a 2 word. That is tensor is one part and flow is another part that we will see in the future slides. So TensorFlow accepts data in the form of multi-dimensional array called tensor. So if anyone called about what is tensors, so tensor represent about it may be a single dimension, it may be a multi-dimension, or it may be a 2-dimensional like a matrix. We will travel in rows and columns. It is a multi-dimensional array because when you travel in multi-dimensional array only, we can able to take different kinds of extraction program that the forthcoming demos will explain you in that particular session. So TensorFlow works on the basis of data flow graph that we call as a nodes and edges. So very clearly that whenever you are taking to work with any kind of a application, every applications we will consider as a nodes and edges, where nodes will be taken as a important aspect and edges will be taken as a tensors actually. So why we want to go for tensor? That is a specific need. Again, I'm coming to the point what scenario we made it. So that is a general thing that you can able to know that every time when you are working with google.com, make it in your mind that the background there is one searching algorithm is been running over it. The name of the searching algorithm, which we called as a RankBrain, that is a RankBrain searching algorithm, which is been under the application of TensorFlow. That you should know it very clear. But other than that, there are some other thing why we want to go for TensorFlow application. So let me see about the first line is the what we discussed in the scenario itself. It is developed and maintained by Google, and all the API applications which go for supporting of multiple languages like Python as well as C++, Java, and etc. And as well as the TensorFlow will be comfort for GPU as well as for CPU, and it will have an integration with the Java and R language, and that is very important. And why specifically we are going for TensorFlow in the sense that whenever you are taking some kind of deep learning libraries, so the deep learning libraries are something like Keras or PyTorch, or even the TensorFlow is all the different kinds of NumPy. So these are the different learning libraries available. Out of the TensorFlow will take the faster compilation time processing will be more clear, because some people will ask me the question that there are different kinds of deep learning libraries available, something like Keras or PyTorch, or you can go for NumPy. So why specifically you are going for TensorFlow? The answer is that it is an compilation time, and as well as the integration with the different languages, as well as the multi-language supports is being made it. And other that very crucial thing is what the user will expect, or what the end user will expect in the sense, the end user will expect in what way the visualization is going to be given, because visualization is the one the end user can able to understand the input as well as output, whatever it is given in the proper way. So TensorFlow is providing one of the visualization tool, which what we call as a tensor board. Okay, so using this tensor board visualization, you can able to know what is actually the input we given through the neural networks, what is the hidden layer which is happening over at the middle of the part, and what is the output you are getting over here. So what is tensor? I given different kinds of words for the tensor for you. So tensor, in one way we will call it as an multi-dimensional array. For example, you can see the right hand side which I given some kind of presentation in the image format. Sir, we have different term we will given for the term tensor. It be called as an one-dimensional tensor, which we given in the name of an vector. If it is a two-dimensional vector or two-dimensional tensor, we will call it as a matrix. We go for the three-dimensional tensor, we call it as a cube, and four-dimensional tensor we call it as a vector of cubes. We go for a five-dimensional tensor, we call it as a matrix of cubes. So these dimensions are n number of dimensions we can go for it. For example, you can see at the bottom also I given different kinds of representation. What is a tensor? If it is a single dimension, we call it as a scalar, or a vector we take it. If it is a two-dimensional, we can call it as a matrix. If it is more than the two-dimensional, that's what the first line I just mentioned, it is a multi-dimensional array which we call as a tensor actually. And what is the general meaning for tensor? Because the students also want to know about what is the general meaning for tensor other than technically. So you can see that I given in the second line. So it is a Latin word, the tendere, meaning to stretch, which means that to expand. So what I can able to understand from the to stretch or the expand in the sense, when you go for multi-dimensional array, we want to expand into different dimensional x, y, z, it goes on. Okay, and the third point is the one which we want to take it in the name of programmatically, it is a container, which means that it holds the data in kind of n dimensional. So how the data is in one part, the next one what we call as a flow. So how the data is going to be taken inside the neural network in the form of graph. In the form of graph, in the sense whether what kind of flow I want to David, whether the step 1 to be done or step 2 be done. So that is what known as a flow. So tensor will have the data, and we want to know in what way the flow of the data to be given. See, for example, as a human brain, when you are seeing some kind of images, there is some kind of input is taken to you. When some kind of input is taken to you is something like a tensor. But what kind of flow that you want to make it? So this is an image. In this image, this is all things available. So you want to know the flow, because the same thing that the system also want to know the flow, in what way we want to once you recognize the images. I agree with the point, through the tensor the multidimensional array will able to recognize the image. But once it is recognized the image, what is the next criteria? In what way the flow should be made? Which is to be identified first? Which is to be identified the second? Which is to be identified the third? So on getting all this criteria, there is a flow is needed, which what we call as an data flow. So data which will be represented in the form of multi-dimension, that is given by tensor. Then we want to know the flow. That is why it has been taken as a two words to be called as a tensor as well as a flow. Okay. So what are all the companies which is specifically using over the TensorFlow? That is very important actually. That what from the first scenario we know that the Google is been using, not only the Google, all the social medias, whatever you are going for tagging your friends, especially in the Facebook, everything, the TensorFlow is at the background. So when you are making a snapshot of any selfie and putting over in your Facebook, and just make your image to be posted in the Facebook, that particular moment of time, it will ask you to tag over the friends related to the ID which is given. So that is also the application where the background, the TensorFlow is available, which is what related to the deep learning as well as the machine learning. So in all the social media, the TensorFlow applications are available. Even in recently, also I just heard about the banking system, which what we call as an ICICI Bank is using one kind of method called as an video KYC. Which is the one where you can able to take over your applications for your personal loan on for your bank loan, that you can take a screenshot and given to that based on your age and the constraint, that it will give you what kind of an insurance or the loan that you can procure for you. So there also the banking system, also the TensorFlow at the back end to be used over it. But other than that, you can see different kinds of peoples available, that it is not only limited to this particular people. There are n number of available. Out of that, they are all the top, starting from Intel, eBay, or an MI mobile phones, what you are purchasing, or from the Amazons, especially, and Uber. Okay, that is a self-driving cars. So they are very clear in developing that particular one with the name of TensorFlow applications. Even some kind of food products like Coca-Cola, they are also taking some kind of applications to be needed. Okay. And what is the integration of TensorFlow is available, because you want to know what is the integration to be needed for the TensorFlow. So when you take about the TensorFlow, you can see that the Google has been developed the TensorFlow product by using some kind of community, that maybe the community will be a developer, that we are also one of the developer, and we have the researchers, integrators and companies. And this will require, when the TensorFlow want to contribute, where these are all the people, those who are contributed to Google to support to develop the TensorFlow. And if they want to develop, they need the requires which is available in the left hand side of the presentation, the dependency which what we called as an Python, C++, NVIDIA. So these are all the platforms which is being needed. And right hand side, you can see that there is a very beautiful things which they given over it, that it provides GitHub for you. So TensorFlow will give you the GitHub as well as the code up. So once over whatever the code that you have been running over in the TensorFlow, that using some kind of Colab or a Jupyter notebook, that you can able to move it to the GitHub, so that at whatever the time you can able to take it. But at the same time, when it is running over related to client and server application, you can see at the top there are some people's available known as Jenkins. So I will tell you what is the need of the Jenkins, which what we call as a continuous integration with the users, which means that Jenkins is actually a free and open source automation server. It helps to automate the part of the software development related to building, testing, and deploying, and facilitating the continuous integration and continuous delivery. For example, especially the second year student, those who are specifically studying now in the software engineering, like software development life cycle, like a waterfall model, everything. So when you learn about Jenkins, Jenkins will take about the waterfall model and doing some kind of works related to an automation service. And it is also facilitating a continuous integration and delivering of the product. It is a server-based system that run in servlet container, such as called as an Apache Tomcat. Okay, so you have the server ability also. That is also the open source that you can able to make it, and you can able to see at the bottom where you are going to execute all this thing. That is very important. That what already we told, that whether you are going to exhibit in your graphic processing unit, or whether you are going to exhibit in the tensor processing unit, that we can you able to choose the platform at the bottom. At the same time, when you go for the left hand side visualization, that what we see in the previous session, visualization is very important for the user to know about the analysis report, what it is going to given for you. So that is also is giving you a good idea about the tensor board is being provided as an dashboard, which you can able to analyze very clearly what is happening inside the input, that whatever you given for the TensorFlow. So before going to the demo, let me understand why Colab is needed. So if you want to go to the Colab, I given about two kinds of opportunities for you. One is you can go with colab.research.google.com, or you can go with google.com, and then you can go to the drive. Once you go to the drive, at left hand side you can see a new icon. There, once you click the new icon, you can able to get the Google Colab collaboratory. So out of that, you can also see what kind of the supports which is being made by the Colab, which is the product of an Google. So that very specifically, I want to mention about the line that CPU, GPU, and TPU support that is very specifically needed when you want to run the machine learning and deep learning products. And as well as it is an excellent tool for the deep learning models of whatever the design that you have been coming for it. And whatever the language, and especially the request, what I just told, we can go for Python code to be designed for that. So this is the Google Colab method, in what way the data models which is you are designing for the machine learning as well as for the deep learning, that is going to the system side actually. So you are in the end user. In the end user, you are taking some backup. That backup is go to the Google Drive. That Google Drive backup will also take into the Colab. So this will be an where you can able to see a bidirectional. So whatever you done it in the Colab, that will be passed to the Google Drive. From the Google Drive, you can able to synchronize and take it to backup to the system. So you don't need to take any powerful platform to be deployed for that. Even if you have a 32-bit system of an Windows or any other applications also, you can able to comfort to work it with GPU and TPU, because that Colab will provide you the platform, and you can able to see the data storage is very clearly given over it. The development will be using the Colab, whether the storage will be in the data model, and you can also take it to the response. So that is the one very specific platform that you can go for it actually. So let I go for demo on how the TensorFlow applications is going to be developed. So before going for the demo, I will start it with one basic thing about initially you want to go to the Colab that research.google.com. Once you go to the colab.research.google.com, okay, in that particular situation, TensorFlow, that is pip install TensorFlow. So once you run this particular application, and you can able to get what are all the packages or what are the libraries which is being needed for that, that will be run very specifically on this particular application. But before running this particular application, make it very clear. You can see at the top known as a runtime actually. Okay, so when you go to the runtime, where you can able to see about very specifically what kind of runtime you are made it. So runtime represent, if you want to understand what is runtime, you can take it as a platform. So for example, if you go for runtime, you can see one particular sub menu which is called as a change runtime. So once if you go for change runtime, by default it will be none. Okay, that is the general one. So whether you can able to use depends upon your application extraction, or depends upon your application accuracy. You can able to go for GPU as well as a TPU. Okay, so at present the application which I am going to take over is for the simple application as well as for the image extraction, so that I don't need a mother to be carried out. So I can go for GPU by default as a startup one. So make it very clear before you are going to run the pip install TensorFlow. Make it very clear the runtime, you want to go to runtime and take change runtime type. Within that, by default it is been available with none, but you want to change it to GPU, which is a basic platform which you run your TensorFlow, especially because you are running an lakhs and lakhs of data sets to be inserted in the image extraction or image object identifications or any kind of an application that you develop. So especially you can go for hardware accelerator to the GPU as a startup one, which will be comfort for you. So you can install with pip install TensorFlow, that you can see that all the libraries inside that to be needed. But one specific line you can see that what kind of Python version which is specifically supported by TensorFlow, in the sense it is starting from the version of 3.7. So make it very clear when you are working with the system aspects, try to install the Python 3.7 version to be updated. So that is a starting version where your TensorFlow is been supporting all the library files as well as the packages which is needed for you. So once if you install over it, you can go to the first line. You can see the first line which means that import, okay, and followed by the name known as a TensorFlow as a library file, and you can give some rename as a TensorFlow as TF, because that is the name I'm going to call it for that. So in within that, just run this particular application. So once if you are running at the right hand side, you can see that my mouse has been rounding over somewhere like a RAM as well as a disk space. So this is what I just told, that where the Colab is providing a platform for you. So now you can see that particular connected to Python 3, Google Compute Engine backend GPU. That is the GPU backend which has been available. What is the RAM space? What is the space which has been provided for you? What is the allocation space presently you are using over it? Everything is given over it. So even if you have a simple system with a 32-bit processor, 32-bit the Windows applications, you are ready to work it with the Colab. But appreciable when you are going for real-time application development as well as for the any kind of projects you are going for in the real time. So that particular moment of time, better you can go for what is that TPU as well as a GPU as well as a 64-bit system actually. So this is the one that you can able to understand about the import TensorFlow as a TF, and followed by some kind of basic kinds of commands which is being used like a print command. I'm just taking about TensorFlow in 3 ways actually, because every kinds of a languages and every kinds of a library files will have the some kind of representation. So what is the meaning of representation? In the sense data representation, or we call it as a data type representation. So especially when you go for TensorFlow data representation, the 3 way you can represent the data. One is variable, second one is constant, and third one is a new one which not till now we are not yet, because variable and constant you read in all the programming language starting from C. But the third one is a new one which is called as a placeholder. So this is a new way of a data type which has been added in the TensorFlow, where it will take some kind of changes and where specifically the data is being needed, because the placeholder is related to the neural network input. Suppose when I've been running over the application, suddenly I need one of the input to be given. So that particular moment of time I can give placeholder. And another one is the application is running under some kind of seconds. For example, in 20 seconds, I needed one input, not at the first. So I can give that particular input to the placeholder, which is specifically given as an input to that particular time. So the placeholder is one of the very crucial data type which is specifically needed for the TensorFlow, other than the variable as well as a constant. So the data, the TensorFlow is having type supported. One is your data one is variable, and second one is your constant, and third one is placeholder. Satya, is he on the line? So let me go to the demo part actually. So this is one of the demo that I want to show it for you. This demo is actually the face mesh actually, which is coming under the part of your deep learning. And before that, I'm just starting my. Is it my face is visible for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So there is one application to be available in the TensorFlow, which is called as a face mesh. Okay, so this face mesh is an application which will take care about the outer bounding of pointings will be given for you. For example, I will show you one example now. So you can able to see that when I move my particular face, you can see around my face there is some kind of mesh is being given for you. That mesh is giving some kind of dotted lines which is given for that. At right hand side, you can see how many maximum faces that you want to recognize in this face mesh. Whether it is 1 or 2, and you can see there is some kind of a red circle is being rounded in each and every aspect. That red circle will represent about my eyes actually. So you can see that when I move my particular movements in my particular face, you can see that there is some kind of red circles which has been rounding my eyes actually. So this is a face mask which has been divided, which using a multi-dimensional array actually. Okay, only the even if for example the max face at the back end, if I been increasing to 2, that particular moment of time, if any person has been enrolling over in this camera, that particular moment of time, their face is also be recognized with this face max. Even it also gives some kind of mesh for that. So you can see some kind of mesh I've been given for you now. Okay, so this mesh, so this mesh will be given one kind of face mesh which is able to identify the, even you can see about my voice when I've been speaking over it, you can see some kind of moments which has been happening over in this mask actually. So this applications will especially needed to when you go for 3D modeling the face mask actually, or the face mesh we can able to taken in different dimension to be taken. So that particular moment of time, this application will be very useful for you. Okay, and this is a application which is an no need of any kind of software that you want to run it for that. I will provide you the link how to run this particular particular program in the description part of my YouTube after finishing these classes, so that you can able to carry out this and try it by your own. At right hand side, you can see about what are all the different kinds of parameters. So you can see that there will be some kind of lines is been coming over here. This lines will represent about the whatever the model that is being available. That model will come over here. But presently, my system has been 32-bit support, so it takes some time actually. So when anyone having the 64-bit OS, so that particular moment of time, the mask, whatever it has been coming over here, the mask will be separately coming over here actually in this diagonal actually. So you can see that you can, once it has been come, then you can able to take it in different diagonal way positions and make it out how the mesh is being made actually. So this is one of the application which has been designed especially for the concept of TensorFlow application. Okay, and I will go for some other application will be make it for you. And before that, let I go for the startup one. So when you go for this particular import TensorFlow as TF, that is a startup line that you want to import. And once you imported that, what I just told, you can call a data type with 3 names. One is your constant, second one is your variable, and third one is your placeholder. So you can take any kind of output to related to that. And even you can see some kind of matrix representation is also taken over here. Once you run it, this particular application, okay, I just given one application name known as a mat multiply, okay, which is taken care about the matrix applications, and they given about what kind of data type is being supported, everything. So let I go for another one sample which is being mostly needed for you. Just a minute. So I think everyone know about the Mona Lisa, the term the Mona Lisa actually. So here they taken that particular output to be in different manner. How we can interact it based on your face movements. The Mona Lisa face will be speak to you in the name of the movements of the eyes actually. So let me go and check it out, that particular application, especially in the TensorFlow actually. So it takes some time for me to carry out. So now you can able to understand in what way the TensorFlow application is being used for you, and as well as the TensorFlow application which is been designed to you take different kinds of name and different kinds of output which is being given for you actually. So this application, even you can also develop this particular application with the name of Colab, and as well as you can also take it different kinds of machine learning and deep learning concepts to be made out actually. Okay, so I will go for another sample. So the website I'm just giving over is monalisaeffect.com. Okay, I will also share this particular one in the description. So you can see there is one picture of Mona Lisa has been available here, and you can see at right hand side my picture has been made. So what is the objective of this in the sense? This is the TensorFlow application. When I move my particular face to be, and as well as when I move my eyes to the left and right hand side, that particular moment of time, my reflection will be on the image. So this has been done by the application of a multidimensional array by the TensorFlow. Actually, you can see that when I take it my face, actually, you can see there is a changes in the Mona Lisa, the image, where you can able to see over here, and you can see even the phase is also been moving over here. Okay. Okay. So this is the one of the TensorFlow application. Even that you can able to clear. So how this has been happening actually? How this kind of applications is been coming over it. So you can see that when I moving from my frame to the different levels, and you can see there is a changes in the Mona Lisa face, especially is moving to some kind of dimension, depends upon my face, whatever I've been moving over here actually. So you can see that changes over, depends upon my changes in my face to be moved to the right hand corner. That reflection is being made in the simple static image of the Mona Lisa actually. So how it is possible? This is possible because of the TensorFlow application. Okay, where TensorFlow application will take my frames, in what way I will move it, and where is my eyes and where is my face is being taken. The previous example that you taken about the face mesh. Okay, so now you can see that when I move my faces also, you can see some kind of reflection is being made. Okay, so you can see my eyes is been moving over, something like that. So this is another way of an application that where you can able to understand the real-time impact of your TensorFlow application. So I will also share this particular one. So now you can able to understand this is one of the TensorFlow first order motion model. That is a technology which has been available at the backend related to the this particular application, which we called as an FOMM, which called as an first order motion model. And at the background of the Mona Lisa, the eyes where you can follow your moves around the room. So when you if you enable your web camera, especially, so before using that, make it your web camera has been enabled, and the eyes of the digital portrait will be do that whenever you are moving that eyes and to the left and right, and you can see that changes in even in the form of applications that you can able to see over here actually, where you can see that in what way the face is being moving to each and every side. I think you can see that. So how this is happen? Okay, so this is the model. Let me know about the technology, the technique, the model which has been available at this backend side. This is available with the name known as an first order motion model. So in TensorFlow, there is one application model is available, first order motion model. So what it will do it over the sense, it will take your face, your frame, and as well as the Mona Lisa frame, and it will correlate it with that Mona Lisa frame, and whatever the movements that is being made on your eyes as well as your face movement, that will be reflected on the frame, not on the image. Make it my statement very clear, not on the image, it's on the frame. So you can also see that if you zoom and see this particular image, you can see there will be a layer of frame is been masking over here that you can't able to see clearly, but you can see zooming at this particular image. When you are free, you can go through that. You can see there will be a lightly frame is being available at the top. This frame is this frame is making you to move that whatever the action that you are taking now, or whatever the movement that I've been taking over now, you can see that is happening over it. So this is the another application why we want to go for TensorFlow, and the name of the application which has been coming under the name known as a first order motion model. So when you are free, you can also use this application model. So all these application models are available with the name of tensorflow.org actually. So even if you go for some other application, let's say you want to go for some other applications to be designed. For example, I will tell you another kind of an application, which is where the TensorFlow application is also be used for you. I done one simple demo on, especially on the machine learning. Okay, so this is an iLearning machine learning applications. Okay, so this is the application you can carry it out, which is the format of iLearn machine learning .science. So here, when you draw some kind of text over here, it will able to recognize what kind of text you are drawing, and it will go for the prediction. And this is also, for example, I'm drawing a line that it will tell you very clearly that it is 1, and when you draw 3, that it is giving the prediction, what kind of prediction is being made for you. Okay, even if I give some kind of values, so you can see some kind of prediction is given to you. And as well as even you can also load your some simple images to recognize the object detection method by using the TensorFlow. So I given one child has been riding a bike actually. as a single cycle actually. So I given that particular image, and it is giving how many percentage of bicycle is available, how many percentage of the person, because the person is not directly seen, the person background is only seen. That is why the percentage is 0.7 percentage and 0.8 percentage actually. And even in the bicycle also, it has been taken to the backend. So these are all the different kinds of applications where you can able to enroll, or where you can able to take the applications level, especially to the TensorFlow application that you are going to design. Okay. So if you want to use it also, you can able to check this particular website, like an iLearn Machine Learning science. So this is one of the website which is given for you, where you can take real-time applications. Even if you give your images also to recognize, you can take a selfie of your with your friends and give that particular image to know about recognition. What are all the objects which is being behind at you and in front of you? Everything, if it is be visible, then it will be taken care. If you want, again, I will take some other presentation, some other demos for you actually. So here I'm just taking some other information to you. For example, I'm just running one image of deduction. This is an object deduction which is made using the TensorFlow application, which I'm running in the Colab with the run type of GPU. So it's at some time that you can see that it has been connecting with the GPU. The initializing is going on. Yeah, it is connected. So once it is connected, then it has been extracting the images, and it takes some kind of errors because we want to run this completely. Okay, so let me run this complete application. So we want to run from the startup one, then you can know the extraction. So wait a moment, I will run from the initial step of setup. So I will also share this object detection GitHub file to you. So simply you can copy the file, or you can run through the file in the Tensor. See, very simply you can run the TensorFlow application. Once you open the TensorFlow.org application, it will give you three kinds of option to you, whether you want to take it to the GitHub, or whether you want to run it in Colab, or whether you want to take it to the Jupyter Notebook. So once if you run on Colab itself, automatically once if you are connected with the Gmail account, it will take you to the specific account that where you can see the in what way the application. Only one thing you want to do it before running the application, check it whether the runtime of your change runtime is been available with GPU or not. So once it is available with the GPU, then you are ready to run the application. So every application will be taken in the form of code, which what we call as a cell. So separately we are running each and every applications. Okay, so now you can see that I just given one of the screenshot of an image of a restaurant which containing a tree and as well as a table, chairs, everything. Let me understand how to do that. So let me take it one by one, because I given as a separate cell for running each and every code, which will take some time because it won't extract all the images and know about an object detection, specifically how many percentage of the image that the system can able to recognize. So that depends upon the bandwidth. Also, it will take some time. Yeah, now it has been creating. It takes some time for you to extraction. I will run this particular also simultaneously. So here you can able to see that the TF will be the TensorFlow, the import file, that the file will be taken about in what way we can able to take the file, and you can see channels equal to 3 in this particular line. So what is the channels equal to 3 in the sense I'm going to load 3 kinds of images with the 3 different hyperlink. So that is what the load known as in channels equal to 3. So at present it has been loading over here. So let's wait for another 2 or 3 minutes to run this particular program. You can see at the bottom the execution time which is being taken. Yeah, now it has been completed. Now we can run this. No, it is also completed. Let me run this. Where it will take on all the detection of paths. Yeah, it is fine. Now we can go and run this. So because each and every one I just take it as a different set of code level, instead of taking all the codes to be in one level and taking as a task, big task, we can also take it as a different level, and thereby we can able to easily run over each and every code separately. So that will be fine for us to clearly identify where actually the error is being available actually. So that is why I'm just taking to separate code by each and every one. So that channel equal to 3, you can see 3 kinds of hyperlink I given in the image URL, which containing the JPEG file with the image URL size of 640 into 480 in the name of your width and height. That is also mentioned over in the particular code. I think it is running over it because it want to detect how many images extraction, because the image extraction or object detection is being made based upon the different samples which is given as input in the form of. So you can see that the line found 100 objects, which means that it will take you how many objects it's been identified. Now you can see that the image presently what you are seeing on the screen, that it represents about chart 38%, table 84%, and you can see tree. Whatever the part of the particular image is a tree, which resemble about 65%, and it tell you that it found 100 objects actually. So that kind of very clearly you can also do it. If you want to take your image to be given over in the sense, you can give it here. For example, I'm just taking this particular line, upload wikipedia.org. I'm just giving my JPEG file. So you can do one thing, you can remove this JPEG file and you can give your own JPEG file like a selfie that you have taken with your friends, and you can also run this. And based on the running method and the image, we have 3 kinds of images to be made it, and then the image has been uploading over here. So once it has been uploaded, then you can able to see that how many kinds of, see that the bird 87%, animal 14%, so woodpecker is 49%. So all this kind of image detection will be made by using the name of TensorFlow actually. So I'm just stopping with this presentation to know about in what way the TensorFlow application that you are running over here. Okay, and so try to utilize this opportunity, especially when this kind of platform is given for you, and because this is a one where you can able to enrich your knowledge as well as whatever the technology that you know over it, or in what way we can exhibit to the society, especially to our Asians, you can able to take it in the right manner actually. So thank you for everyone for giving this opportunity, and as well as to be the part of this Arunai STEM. I make this presentation to be, I think this presentation will be useful for you, and as well as you can also make some kind of demos. If you have any queries, you can contact me through the feedbacks, so that I will help you in what way you can able to take different kinds of applications. Even the third year students of computer science having the mini projects, try to do any kind of projects in TensorFlow also. There are n number of GitHub files available. So you want to know the procedure of running over, and you want to know about basic prerequisites, something like what is machine learning, what is deep learning, and what is the prerequisites which is needed, like a TensorFlow. And there are different library functions available that for the deployment. Even the Colab is a good platform for you. So you do not worry about the running methodology, that the space, everything. So try to utilize this opportunity to take over your applications to the next level, especially in the machine learning and deep learning. So thank you for taking this, make it the session to be right one. So let I invite for the next person to be talked about the name of an IoT, Mr. Gurunyana Kumar, who is having knowledge on IoT, especially on developing an project which is related to the society, as well as some mini level of projects he has been done it with the IoT project. So I just call Mr. Gurunyana Kumar from the final year CSC department to take care about the IoT to the sessions. So Gurunyana Kumar, you can take over the session now.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. This is from Gurunyana Kumar from CSC department. First of all, thank you for giving this opportunity to do this, sir. Objectives. What is IoT? How does it work? Why IoT? IoT project. What is IoT? The scope of IoT is not limited to just connecting things to the internet. IoT allows the things to communicate and exchange the data. Processing on this data will provide their various applications toward a common user and mission goal. Internet of Things comprise things that have a unique identity and are connected to the Internet. The focus on IoT and configuration, control and networking via Internet and device of things that are traditionally and associated with the Internet. For example, pump, utility meter, car, engine. IoT is a new relevation to the capability of the endpoint that are connected to the Internet. Move from Internet of People. Internet appear everywhere in the world, in primarily connection between the people. Internet of Things. Internet of Things plan to connect things also using this some medium. Internet of Things evaluation. The evaluation of the IoT into backbone of the connected world. How it is transforming everything into the Industry 4.0 system of system. First of all, human to human connection, fixed and mobile telephone, SMS, then WW, e-mobile, information, entertainment, etc. Then updated the Web 2.0, e-product, e-commerce, for example, Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Social media. Now we going to machine learning. IoT application, intelligent homes. The IoT is intended on extended data collection, the smart networking, predictive and analytic and deep optimization across the interconnected people and most every manner of physical object and information technology platform around the world. This home light speaker, fridge, washing machine and everything etc. is connected to the internet. It are all controlled by smartphone and tablet and our project. There are many people who are affected by the consequence by missing the precious time in like manner similarly in school. In rural area, many government schools are using a manpower to ring the bell. They have enough to fund by a innovative automated bell. To recover this fault, we can introduce a smart clock and automatic bell system. The main consequence is correct time and bell have to ring. If they ring a bell in accurate time, what we program it, and it also display the time. We can change both clock and ringing the time by using website or app anywhere at any time. We can check the status of our system and also maintain our system through the internet. Prerequisite set. Arduino Nano, real-time clock, jumper wire, buzzer, ESP8266 in Wi-Fi modulo, I2C LCD display connector. Arduino Nano. Arduino Nano is a open source hardware and software company, project and user community that design a manufacturing single board and a microcontroller and microcontroller kit, building a digital device. Real-time clock RTC. The real-time clock RTC is an electronic device most often in this form of integrated circuit that measure the passage of time. Although the times often refer to a device in personal computer, several embedded system RTC present in most electronic device which needed to keep it in accurate time. ESP8266 is a Wi-Fi module, a low-cost Wi-Fi microchip with a full TCP and IP stack and microcontroller capability. The chip first came to attention Western Maker in August 2014 with a ESP01 modulo made by the third-party manufacturing AI Thinker. Demo video. Now we see in the current time and date on display. Now we are going to set time to ring an alarm on website. The alarm is ringing. Thank you.
Thank you, students, for your valuable presence for this. Some students has been started with doing a different kind of activities, especially in the name of Ideathon in the previous month. But anyway, as a department responsibility, we want to have subsequent events and subsequent refreshment is needed for the development of our career. So that is why I take it this particular channel of STEM, which will enrich both faculty as well as the students, how they can able to make their presentation. Because when you are going for outside for any kind of a project presentations or in any kind of a paper presentation, maybe in future, that particular moment of time you feel hesitation to talk in front of a people. So I think this particular platform will help you, that the fearness what you are having in your mind when you are talking in front of people in a conference or in a seminar hall. So you will get a boldness, and you will get a clear idea what you want to speak about the topic, that you are very clear with this. So try to utilize this particular opportunity and come with some different ideas, that may be in science, or that may be in technology, that may be in mathematics, or that may be in engineering. So any kind of a topics which has been definitely useful for the students. So try to take this opportunity and make use in future, and shortly we will visit in STEM 10.0. Thank you all for your presence. Thank you.